We now recognize Member Mr. Sullivan.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have an amendment at the
You
desk.
seek a recognition to offer an amendment. Is it to Title II?
Yes, sir.
And the clerk will tell us whether it has been sitting around long enough.
Yeah, I hope so. Like Friday, Saturday?
Amendment offered by Mr. Sullivan of Oklahoma.
Without objection, the amendment will be considered as read. The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This amendment adds the use of transit buses that are powered by alternative fuels, including natural gas, to a substitute amendment. You know, as we look at have this energy debate, considering a huge energy proposal here today and yesterday and tomorrow, that we need to look at all types of energy and all of the above strategy. It's very important. And right now, we need to make sure we don't shoot the horse that we're on until we get a horse to get on. And one of the things we need to do as we do that is focus on using natural gas as a bridge fuel till we determine how we can get through a lot of this. It burns clean. We have a 120-year reserve of natural gas in this country, and we're not utilizing it the way we should. You know, we use 21 million barrels of oil a day, roughly, give or take, and 69% of that 21 million barrels of oil is used for transportation fuel. So one of the things we need to do is focus on the vehicles, getting more natural gas vehicles, having an infrastructure in place to distribute that natural gas. We do have a pipeline infrastructure in place, 1.5 million miles of pipeline in place. We don't have, you know, the gas stations don't have it all, but we need to have incentives for that. In Europe and Asia and other countries around the world, they have roughly 10 million natural gas vehicles that they use. Here in the United States, we have 110,000 natural gas vehicles. If you look at the gas equivalent, it's a no-brainer that we do this. If we're looking at addressing greenhouse gas emissions, natural gas is something we certainly need to look at as a bridge fuel till we get the technologies in place so we can use all these different kinds of fuels and that we can have these standards in place, renewable standards in place. And I move adoption of the bill.
Would the gentleman yield?
Or amendment, yes.
Yes, I'm wondering if I could ask the gentleman, because I'm a little bit confused as to what this actually does. Is the gentleman proposing to use alternative fuels for transit buses? Is that essentially natural gas you mentioned?
Yeah, it's alternative fuels, but natural gas, getting the conversions, using natural gas. We do use it in a lot of fleets right now, a lot of buses. That's really something we need to capitalize on more. I was talking about cars and stuff, but this does address mainly fleets, buses.
Well, I would say to the gentleman that I'd like to know more about his amendment, but I think that this country should be moving towards alternative fuels, whether it's natural gas or whether it's ethanol or methanol. I think that we are crazy if we don't try to end the stranglehold that big oil has on us. If we don't wean ourselves off of foreign oil, it's not going to be very good for this country. And again, while I support the thrust of what the bill does, I think any more emphasis that we could have on alternative fuels as a transition till we are finally energy independent, I think is a good thing. And if the gentleman is just saying that he is for more alternative fuels, then I think the gentleman is moving in the right direction.
Well,
thank you.
Would the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
I thank the gentleman. I thank the gentleman for his amendment. I think it's a good amendment, and I think it points us in the right direction, and that means towards the future. And I thank the gentleman for his work.
Would that mean you're going to accept it? Are you going to accept it? Instead of thanking us for
Sounded
this in the right
that
direction?
way. But
Sounded that way to me.
Yeah, it's a good amendment. And
good amendment, good author,
right, and we
good bill.
Yes.
Well,
don't go that far. You just lost your next election.
Well, and also, since you're in this good mood, I do have 4 amendments I would like to submit in block on the first title later on, if I can, get those assurances. And that deals with the same type of issue on natural gas vehicles,
Good, we'll
focusing on.
Look forward to reviewing it.
Would the gentleman yield?
Yes.
Just ask a question since I know natural gas is a big issue in Oklahoma. What is the effect of changing the depletion allowance and the tax code proposed would do to exploration of natural gas?
Well, that is a good question. The proposal to get rid of the depletion allowance and intangible drilling costs is very detrimental to the independent producers that are in my state and around the country, the kind of the backbone of our industry, not big oil or big gas or anything like that. You know, they don't have, they're market takers, not market makers. So if they don't have anybody to pass it on to. So in essence, if that was taken away from these independent producers, it would mean, you know, it'd be catastrophic to their business. I think the proposal will generate about $31 billion to use that for other purposes, and I think that's something we should not do. We need to keep those in place. It's very important, and it'd be very detrimental to the industry because there is no one to pass it
Would
to.
the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
I think the majority is going to accept your amendment if we stop talking about it.
Okay. I'm all for that.
Are we ready for the question? All those in favor of the amendment say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the amendment's agreed to.